is Nir Bashan, author of The Creator Mindset, a really cool book about how to be more creative at work. It's a McGraw-Hill release. I have with me Adam Markel, who is also a McGraw-Hill author. His book is called Change Proof: Leveraging the Power of Uncertainty to Build Long-Term Resilience. Super cool. Great to have you, Adam.
Terrific to be on the show. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, cool. And we both actually have coffee.
We do.
Isn't that cool?
It's
coffee break.
It's
all right, Adam. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Okay. So important first question is this. Why this book and why now, Adam?
We're living in the most unprecedented time of change, at least in my lifetime. And I think I'm not alone in feeling the collective exhaustion and anxiety that this extended period of uncertainty has caused. So this book, it's self-serving to say it, but I feel like it meets the moment. We were working on how we practice and perform resilience for years. A lot of research went into this book, but it just turns out the timing, I think, was optimal.
Yeah, I mean, we need something like this right now. I love it. Super relevant. Adam, I was looking in the book, and you have a chapter here on calm is contagious. How is that?
Well, think about the times we're living in, right? Where we're talking about viruses and how things are communicated and passed from one person to another. Well, everything is contagious. Our energy is contagious. And in times of disruption, as a business leader, as a business owner, and somebody who's operated and worked in organizations for many years, I know that the way that we transfer our leadership to other people, I think is really a powerful tool. It's something we don't recognize often, that if we're taking care of ourselves, then we're not just modeling. It becomes something that other people pick up on and emulate. So if we're calm, that becomes contagious. If we're resilient, then that becomes a thing that gets passed on and becomes contagious. Everything is contagious. And when it comes to other things like our agitation or our anxiety or even our anger, our outrage, these are also things that are contagious. And it's less a thing that in the moment that we have to change, and more a thing that we just need to become aware of.
Amazing. So these emotions are contagious, whether they're positive or not, and it's up to us to decide how we put it out there. Really, really cool, Adam. Also in the book, and again, it's called Change Proof: Leveraging the Power of Uncertainty to Build Long-Term Resilience. In this book, you talk about having a change-proof culture. Is that really possible? Can you really do that?
Yeah, it's not even a question. The fact is that any of us, Nir, can become agnostic to change. And by that, I mean, we recognize it's the universal, it's probably the most reliable principle in the world that we live in. It's the most reliable scientific principle that all things are constantly changing. Everything is in a constant state of change, which is kind of an oxymoron when you think of it. The only constant in the universe is change, and yet most people, in fact, more than 85% of the people that we assessed in part for the purpose of writing this book are resistant to change. They fight change. And we use the analogy of a rip current, of a rip tide at the ocean as a way to bring it to life from a narrative perspective in this book. And when you fight a rip current, you fight the tide, if you will, it exhausts you, it burns you out. And we're living in a culture, business culture right now, of tremendous exhaustion and near burnout in almost every industry that we've studied. But the good news, of course, and this is the reason we wrote the book and why I'm excited about it, is that can change. It can change in an instant as well. And that's by developing not just a different mental outlook about resilience, but a different physical, emotional, and even spiritual approach to how it is that we deal with change, how we embrace it, and ultimately how we utilize it, because that's the key.
Adam Markel adding a new category to death and taxes, and that is inevitable change. Fantastic, sir.
Buddy, that's the deal right there. Right? I think you should lead with change and skip the other two.
There we go. Adam, I asked this of all guests, and this is the last question today. Creativity is my thing. So how does this book, Change Proof, leveraging the power of uncertainty to build long-term resilience, how does this help us become more creative?
That's easy. For me, as a writer or in any creative pursuit, we have to be able to be at our best in the moment, meaning present in the moment, to be able to take in any number of different things that influence us and inspire us and inform us and direct our attention in a different way. But when our mind is under stress, we cannot think strategically. We cannot think creatively. Those two things are mutually exclusive. So it's a bit, of again, one of those paradoxes, but to find your way into a creative thinking space, you can't try. You can't apply effort. Willpower defeats itself when it comes to creative pursuits. So that's why this, in part, at least that aspect of this book will help people to become more creative and also be able to learn how to leverage the future, which is, it's here, it's now, it's coming, and we have to be able to see and seize opportunities in the future. That creative mindset, I think, is a big component in how we develop long-term resilience.
Love it. My guest today, Adam Markel, his book just came out. It's called Change Proof. It is leveraging the power of uncertainty to build long-term resilience. Thank you so very much, Adam, for being on the show. This is a really, really, really special book full of real-life examples. It's super unpretentious, which I love, Adam. It's just readable and digestible. Really, really nice job. Thank you so much for being on today.
Nir, it's been a pleasure. And last thing I'll say this too, is that the assessment that's really the foundation of this book is a 3-minute assessment. I think it's one of the coolest things that we can do is just to figure out, where we are in the moment, mentally, emotionally, physically, and even spiritually, so that we can make certain small changes. And if you've got 3 minutes to answer 16 questions lightning fast the way you and I have had this interview, I think you can find out exactly where you are and, more importantly, where you're headed.
Love it. Thanks for being on, sir.
Thank you.